Welcome to another Railroads Online Showcase video. This time around I'll finally talk about the recently added set of tiny cars. These are basically half-size version or half-length version, or even a bit shorter than that, of the regular cars. And yeah, there's at least one car for each different type of cargo, so you now have a bit more choice between how you want to configure your trains even for the same type of cargo. Some of them might even be better than what we had already, some of them are worthwhile alternatives, some of them are completely useless, and some of the stuff I just absolutely don't like. Overall though, I gotta say these are very nice models at least. And some of them again are great, and we are going to talk about all that in a moment. I tested out a lot of stuff for different capacities, apart from oil barrels sadly, because while this is version of my first playthrough of the game, which I'm still not completely done with, where I connected to all of the different industries. In this particular version of the save, I didn't connect to the refinery yet. This must have been shortly before that, so I couldn't test out the oil barrels, and I'm a bit sad about that, but I think testing everything else should be sufficient. So, starting with the log car, and there are quite a few issues with this one, I'm gonna be honest with you. Generally speaking, if you have an issue with this or not depends on how much you care about the whole cargo shrinking thing which has been introduced with the skeleton car. If you don't care about that, this is actually an upgrade to the skeleton car. It's the same price, it's way lighter, and it has the same capacity. It may be even a bit harder to line up because it's shorter, but overall the game absolutely does not make any difference between, for example, these 5 logs and these 5 logs. As far as the game is concerned, they are the same. I think, weigh the same, yep, and they definitely do pay the same. The way it works, for those who are unaware, just look how long they are once they drop off the car. Yeah, once they drop off again, they are full-size version, and these would never fit onto this tiny car. When you load them on, they will start out being as long as they used to be. But once they drop off the crane, whoop, they turn into smaller versions. Also, there's a fun little thing that I discovered about the crane. Actually, manually loading is now faster if you do it right. So once the cargo is dropped off, you can just double click it. The first click will reset it to its default position, the second click will have it go again. So yeah, this is how you can load the stuff quicker. You could also just let it automatically fill up at its regular speed. So yeah, I have a bit of an issue with this. I'll also give a few solutions that I could come up with. In my opinion, the cargo either needs to fit the car or the car needs to fit the cargo. Shortening the stuff is just kinda cheap. So in this case, making the car fit the cargo doesn't make any sense because you'll just end up with this car over here. Making the cargo fit the car would mean having another set of logs over here, maybe this could be another station where you could then just drive the smaller cars towards and load those on. And then you would only get the shorter logs. They might just sell for less. Maybe with this guy it would be changed up so that there's also support in the middle, so it could either get 6 of the regular logs. Yeah, I didn't load up the top log to make the comparison more clear between these two, or just have 12 of the short ones. That would work. And the way it would work at the sawmill is that when once you deliver the short ones, you maybe only get half of the money, and these could only be turned into lumber because that's shorter as well, while the beam would need a full-size log. Still, I don't see why you would use this instead of this. Maybe apart from firewood potentially or something like that, but overall then it would likely need something like an unlock system or so. But again, as it is, I find this kinda appalling. This is not how I would like to handle this kind of stuff. But again, if you don't care about that, then it's likely not an issue for you. Anyways, a lot of other cars have this problem as well. I'll mention that, but I won't go into the same spiel again as I did here. Let's just move on to the next car, which is for loading. By the way, the other one can also load pipes, so it's even better than the skeleton car in that regard. We'll see that in a moment. The next one is the cordwood car. Can load up to 2 packs of cordwood, which is really not amazing for the capacity. It doesn't do the whole shrinking part, which just fits nicely, even though shrinking these things down would be much more justifiable than the logs. But yeah, overall I think, again, nice model and all. I don't see why you would be using this because the capacity is absolutely atrocious. It might make sense compared to the weight, but I would be surprised if it does. But let's look anyways. 2,500 pounds per car compared to the regular version, which is 9,200 or 9,000 something. This can hold up to 8. In order to have up to 8 with other cars, you would need 4 of them. Then they would be at 10,000. So this is definitely better in that regard, and the end price is also better than buying multiple of the other ones. So this particular one, I don't see how it really fits into the game. It's definitely nice that it's kind of not just a carbon copy of a bigger one, and I kind of like that it can hold only this type of cargo and not the oil barrels as well. But this one is already kind of a bit on a back foot with how little it can hold. Makes sense that it cannot hold like 2 more cargo with how low the bulkhead is, but I don't know, as it is, it's not really viable. Again, you would likely need an unlock system or something where you first have to use this for a while before you get the bigger one in order for this thing to make sense. Or maybe a destination where you don't need that much stuff delivered to at all, so you would still likely go with a bigger card, to be honest, but it is in the game. It's a nice model, shame that it's not really implemented in a useful way. So, moving on to the next one, and trust me, there are some good ones here. I don't just want to shit on every car, but for different reasons, some of them are just, I don't see their uses. Going back to the log holding car, we now go to the pipes. And again, pipes are shortened, 7 instead of 9, so lower capacity than the other version. That's all a given. But I think overall, just again, on those merits, not too shabby if you don't care about the whole length thing. But yeah, I'm repeating myself, I know. These ones are actually pretty good. At least the boxcar over here. This one is the most basic version of the Gag sugarcane car that I mentioned. This really just has a flat top and you can put up to 6 crates onto that. I don't think I would trust this to go through a corner, but yeah, not my problem. Overall, this is an alright version of it, just a very low capacity. Costs 200, this costs 300 and can hold twice as much, so on those merits this would win. But this one is actually competitive with a large box, and I think that's kinda cool. Price and weight wise, weight wise, 2 of these, let's just check it to be sure. Because I think you can actually justify getting 3 of those for one of the other. So price wise and capacity wise, you can buy 3 of these before you could afford another one of the regular box cars. That would come up to 900 and would give you 4 more total crates that you can hold with 3 of the smaller cars compared to these ones. So these can both hold 32 crates, I mean. 3 of the other ones could hold up to 36. Weight-wise, I think this is also a lot heavier. So we are around 17,500. The other one 4,400, so that's staying way below that even with 3 of them. And the thing is, depending on what you want to use it for, either one of these might make sense. If you just want to deliver the stuff in bulk, for dropping it off maybe at the freight depot, because you get a lot of tools and you don't need all of them, maybe the bigger ones make more sense for you, but I think especially for delivering them to where they need to go to, the oil field, maybe just having a smaller boxcar is a sensible solution. After all, you don't really need all that many there, so you could maybe just have one of them tucked to the back and deliver some crates every time, instead of having a large one that needs an extensive amount of time to fill up and then only needing it like every second or third delivery. So that would make both of these viable depending on how you assemble your train and how much of the crates you actually use. You could actually use them in a ratio now instead of just bulk delivery. Besides that, I just find these smaller versions so cute. I could imagine just buying a porter and having a special track which just goes around here and straight to the oil field, just to have one tiny train always go in between the two to only deliver the crates. But apart from that, model-wise, I think there are some cool details, like the sliding door here, having a latch. I think the other one has one as well. I don't know if this has been... yeah. if this has been added later on down the line or something, but nice detail of no matter what. The only thing I don't like about this is that good luck putting in the top row. It's not gonna work. Unless maybe you lift up the crate and when somebody comes in and swoops in the lower crate, it's the door frame should be a bit higher, the opening in there. I'm just saying. But overall, these are pretty nice crates, pretty nice cars. And they are a worthwhile alternative to consider compared to the regular ones that we have already. So that's amazing, that's exactly what I would like from this. Not talking about you anymore. So let's now move on to the sawmill and therefore the stake cars. The stake cars have some similar issues to the log holding cars because let's start with the beams first. They can, by the way, hold the exact same type of items as the regular stake cars, and it's even more extreme because for beams and raw iron, it's actually the exact same amount as the regular car, so it's always 3 items. And yeah, again, this is the exact same thing as this one, so makes no sense at all. Also, they shrunk the entire model, including the little spacing beams here. So these things look much more stable width-wise compared to these ones. These ones are just waiting for any acceleration or braking maneuver that would then have these things slide around and everything just topple down a bit. It's a bit weird. And again, I would say that overall, just make the entire thing fit the... make the cars fit the cargo. And in this case, I would even say, don't allow people to put beams and raw iron on this. It just doesn't work. Or it shouldn't work, really. In terms of stuff that does work on here, the lumber is actually a slight bit too short for that as well. So if I unload a bit here, you will see that this is actually being shrunk down a bit as well. Not too much, but yeah, I'm being an idiot here. That's the wrong button, thought I had to do it with enter. I'm a bit rusty with the game, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just being shrunk down a bit, and I wish they just made the cars a tiny bit longer. That would have fixed the entire issue. Or make the lumber a bit shorter. It wouldn't matter too much. But yeah, just make everything make it just work and not so strange. As far as delivering maybe the stuff that I mentioned before, the shorter loads, that would be a bit of an issue with how it's stored over here. Maybe you could store two of the smaller ones right behind each other. Or they could then only use them for lumber here. And maybe even the larger ones, they would be split apart in the middle in order to still keep producing both types of product here. Or maybe you would actually need to deliver the shorter ones in order to get lumber, and from the larger ones you only get beams. I don't know. I mean, it's not like the sawmill wouldn't have any option to split a log apart lengthwise. I don't think they would have any issues with that. They are most likely capable of using some weird tool for that. I don't know, I'm no expert. Okay, to quickly show how it works with smelter product as well. Over here. Again, for the rails, it works pretty well. I think there's a tiny bit of compression, but nothing too noticeable. The main thing here is that compared to having the full-length car, you would have up to 10 rails, so 2 stacks up to 5 high each, but on these cars it only stacks up to 4. As you can see in the top left, that's actually the limit. So I would expect there to be 5 sets of rails up here, but it's only 4, so less than half the efficiency than the regular car. It's not too great. But again, if you want to deliver some other type of cargo, like the raw iron here, yeah, this is right now the only thing that you would do for efficiency. The cars are lighter on default, so there's not too much dead weight that you always have to carry around for the amount of cargo that you get, and it's the exact same amount of cargo. Also, the cars are a bit cheaper, so again, I don't want this on here. It's kind of weird. Next up, ores, and for this I have to admit I only tested coal instead of testing iron ore as well, so here are my findings. However, we have 3 different versions of the gondola cars, which can also hold some, I was about to say beer barrels, but no, but I mean the fuel barrels. We have the one with a low sidewall, the medium sidewall, and the high sidewall. The low one can carry up to 2 freight, the middle one can carry up to 3, and the top one can carry up to 6. Okay, first up, I guess it would make sense to have a bit of a larger offset for this one, so it's not completely useless. So I could see a sensible way of handling this being 2 cargo, 3 cargo, 4 cargo, but a linear scale would be more sensible, I guess, so 2, 4, 6, something like that. But the middle one is actually getting screwed over quite badly here, and I don't know if I really like it. Then again, I don't think the first 2 ones are really that useful anyways. I just stick with the third one. And if we now compare that to what used to be the best car to haul coal with, this one is the new king in town. It costs 250, can carry up to 6 coal, and by the way, I wish we just had the capacities and also for engines with top speeds here in the just in the menu to know how many it can really carry. Also, it can hold oil barrels again. It weighs 2,640 pounds, and yeah, the pricing. If you compare this to this hopper over here, which can hold up to 10 units, 850. I'm pretty sure I can get 3 of other cars for the price. 13,200. The other one, what was that again? 2,600. So I can get quite a few of those cars in order to get the same weight limit. And just 2 of these have a higher capacity than one of the hopper cars. So Yeah, this is what maximum performance looks like. The new king in town. Who would have thunk? So yeah, I'll likely be using these a lot during my other playthrough. And again, eventually I will come back to this one as well. But Jesus Christ, like this is almost silly. Let's be real. It shouldn't be better in all different aspects. So the price to capacity ratio and the weight to capacity ratio, which just blows it out of the water in both cases. But it does. So what can I do? I'm just reporting here. Besides that, the last thing that we have left is the tanker car. It's the Valuigi agricultural tanker or whatever. And here we have it. It's a bit tiny. It's kind of cute. I absolutely love the mechanism up here. The little secure things that slide out of the way if you want to take the top off. This is really well done. The attention to detail again is amazing. The attention to having it make sense in the game, maybe not so much. This can only hold up to 2 units of crude oil, compared to the 12 of the other one. And if we do a quick comparison between the two, here we have this one, 3,500, 280. I'll go with 300 and we know it's gonna be a bit under that price compared to the other. This one, 1,450. If we multiply the other one by 5 in order to still stay slightly below the 1,500 mark, it would be a bit cheaper than this one to have 5 of the other cars. The capacity would be 10 compared to this one's 12. So it's a bit lower in that regard. And I think weight-wise the other one went out. This one is 30,000. The other one's 3,500. So with that you would go up to it would be 14,000, like 18,000 or something. So this would be significantly lighter. So theoretically you could go with this instead of large ones, but the thing about this is loading this up will be an absolute pain. You have to align the spouts. I mean, you can use 4 of them, which is cool, but you will have to align those. Then only get to fill in 2 units, then have to move the entire thing over again. Even for that, for how it saves some money, or how it saves some price, or what? How it saves some weight, god damn it. That's what I mean. It's not gonna be the most amazing. I mean, this would be worthwhile in terms of efficiency. Just the amount of dead weight you carry around all the time compared to how much you can load onto it. But just for the tedium of trying to fill this up, I would highly advise against this. Might be a good thing to start out with. If you for some reason come here, you have to deliver some amount of fuel, do or die, and you don't have the money to get to another larger card. I would then just suggest supplying other industries until you have enough amount for a larger card, or even multiple ones. But this one, it's weird. Also, to me, it physically doesn't make sense that this basis would be so much lighter than the other one, because that's for the walls of the tank itself. If you make if you keep the same length, but increase the walls surrounding the side of the thing by double the amount, you get 4 times as much oil that you can transport. So theoretically, the larger the tank gets, I mean, of course, there's still the whole under construction that you need to strengthen up to carry the weight. But from that point on, it should still somewhat not become more heavy the bigger you get, at least to a certain degree. But yeah, this one certainly is, and it's certainly on the lighter side. I guess they can also make the walls a bit thinner with it not being all that heavy, but it's still kind of, I don't know. If this was maybe a bit further up on the same kind of scale, I would maybe consider to go for it, but with it having such little capacity to speak of, which is, I guess, the entire point of these being so tiny, it's just nothing that I would want to deal with. Again, the game would have to invent some mechanics that would make me deal with this thing. And right now I'm just happy I don't have to, even though I overall like the cover, how it looks and all that. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. This one, 4 out of 10, I don't know. The some of the stuff, especially for the boxes, 8 out of 10 or even 10 out of 10. Great design, works well, and is a viable alternative. And some of it is like must buy, which already or kinda lowers the score again, because this shouldn't be happening. So yeah, that's gonna be it from my side. I hope you enjoyed, I hope it was at least informative, and till next time, let me know what you think of the cars, because I'm curious if I missed an angle on some of these that maybe I just can't see here, but would completely turn things around. So yeah, we have some good cars, like the crate cars. We have some cars that are too amazing for their own good, like the high vault gondola. We have some bad cars that are basically unusable, like the lower vault gondolas and potentially maybe this thing as well. And some ugly stuff that has a lot of cargo scaling. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.